A month after posting a video about being bullied, a BC teen is dead. I'm Chris Mangatal. Preliminary report suggests 15-year-old Amanda Todd committed suicide. RCMP Sergeant Peter Thiessen says there could be a number of charges if criminality was involved.
So our investigators are certainly looking in all areas, including social media, past conversations, postings, past actions on social media by anyone and everyone that may have come into contact with Amanda in some form.
RCMP are asking for the public's help because it's very difficult in these types of cases to get evidence they need. CKOM News Time is coming up on 8:01 right now in Saskatoon. It's misty and -2 degrees. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency is under inspection, being audited later this month by the U.S. Department of Agriculture for the first time since 2009. The audit will include a visit to the XL Foods plant in Alberta. We've probably all dug ourselves into a deep hole at one point, but not as deep as this one. At 3.3 kilometers, a well near Estevan is the deepest ever in the province. It'll be used to store carbon dioxide from SaskPower's Boundary Dam station starting next year. Malcolm Wilson is with the Petroleum Technology Research Centre. He says they had to dig so deep because they wanted to get below a layer of salt.
Salt is an extremely good and virtually unbreakable seal. Salt has some very interesting properties. So if you crack it, it will self-heal.
He says the well will also be used for research by the U of S, the U of A, and international companies. And if you don't have over-the-counter medicine you need, you might end up walking around with the sniffles. And if it's more than that, Kathy Lloyd at the Regina Capel Health Region has a reminder.
Anybody with more than the sniffles really should stay home. It's probably easier in the long run to try to prevent things, even though you don't have control over everything.
She adds it's important to practice good hygiene during cold and flu season. Health officials in the Northwest Territories are concerned as infection rates from a superbug have quadrupled in the past 5 years. Chief Public Health Officer Cami Candola says social conditions have played a big part in the spread of MRSA.
When you go back into the communities and you have crowded homes and many people sharing a bathroom and the sharing of towels and beds, it's a lot more difficult to control the spread.
The bug causes inflamed, painful, and sometimes pus-filled infections. It has killed 2 people in the territory since 2008. TD Bank customers in the U.S. may have been exposed to a data breach.
A bank spokeswoman says unencrypted backup data tapes were misplaced. Those tapes had personal information, including account and social security numbers. The company says it is not aware that any of the information was misused. TD Bank has customers from Maine to Florida. Customers whose data was on the tapes are getting a letter from the bank and are being offered free credit monitoring and identity theft protection. I'm Ed Donahue.
Pent-up frustrations have erupted on the streets of Cairo.
Angry chants have returned to Tahrir Square, and above, volleys of rocks flew in the night air as thousands of pro- and anti-government protesters mixed it up on the streets. In one camp, the liberal secularists who feel they're being ignored by the second camp, the Islamist supporters of the powerful Muslim Brotherhood. 100 days in for President Morsi, and a stack of problems from a faltering economy to fuel shortages persist and fester. Tom Rivers, ABC News.
CKOM News Time is 8:04.
On air, online, on demand.
At CKOM.com.
Well, you might not have believed it a few months ago, but the Riders can clinch a playoff spot today. All they have to do is beat the Eskimos in Edmonton, something that hasn't come easy for the green and white. It's been a good few weeks for the Riders' offense. Receiver Weston Dressler says it's been a total team effort.
Being able to have 5 guys out there at once, really all on the same page and thinking the same things has been big.
The Esks will present a challenge, though, as they're a pretty good unit led by linebacker J.C. Sherritt. Head coach Corey Chamberlain says he's real good.
He's pretty good. He's a good guy. I hope they cut him at the end of the year, to be honest with you.
Game time is 2 o'clock on TSN. For more, head to greenzonefootball.com and follow Jamie Knight and GZ Football on Twitter. Also today, the Stampeders take on the Blue Bombers at 11 o'clock. But yesterday, the Lions hammered the Ticats 37-17. In local sports, the Huskies beat the Manitoba Bisons yesterday 44-39. The Blades lost a close one to Kootenay 4-3. They get a chance to turn it around tonight when they take on the Lethbridge Hurricanes. After an early 6-0 lead, the Cardinals surged to a 9-7 win over the Nationals yesterday, moving on to the next round against the Giants. And the Yankees are moving on as well after winning 3-1 against the Orioles. CKOM weather is brought to you by Collision Plus. Dings, dents, chips, collisions? First they reinstall your smile. Visit Saskatoon's #1 collision center. Collision Plus, celebrating 20 years. For today, a mix of sun and cloud becoming cloudy this afternoon. Fog patches dissipating sometime this morning and a high of 10. Clearing up a little bit later on tonight, a low of +2 and mainly sunny tomorrow. Increasing cloudiness in the afternoon, wind south at 20, a high of 14. Across the province this hour, it's -3 in Regina, -2 in Kindersley, -5 in Humboldt-Watrous. Yorkton's at -1, Swift Current at +1. It's -2 in the Battlefords, +1 in Prince Albert. Right now in Saskatoon, foggy west wind at 4 and -2 degrees. For traffic and weather together anytime, click on the link at ckom.com. CKOM is the station that does live local news on the hour, on the half hour, and when it breaks. It's 8:06. I'm Chris Mangatal.
C News, tip us off.